What is going on, Comic Fam? It's your boy, the Bearded Comic Bro, and I am joined by Jay Kalagayan. Welcome to the show.
I cannot grow a beard. I'll be honest with you.
Listen,
This is true confessions. Cannot. It's patchy. I don't know.
you don't have to have a
Filipino.
beard to be on the show. It's okay. It's all right. We're
I got
accepting
a
it.
beard in my mind.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Well, Jay, I'm so excited to have you on. You are the executive director of Cartoon Crossroads Columbus. It's something that I've gotten to go to before. I know if you're in the Columbus area and you haven't checked it out, it's a fantastic event. So we want to talk all things Cartoon Crossroads here. So
Heck yeah.
what is it? When is it? And then we're gonna just get into the weeds a little bit with that.
All right. So, Cartoon Crossroads Columbus is a free comics art and animation festival right here in the comics capital of the world, Columbus, Ohio. There we go. It's going
Yes.
to be running September 27th to October 1st. And it is, like I said it once, I'm going to say it again, it is free. Thanks to a lot of our donors and our sponsors, all the programming, the expo that we have over the weekend, it's free, and
Yeah.
that is the perfect price. To meet creators, discover fresh comics, and be inspired.
Yeah. It is such a great event. I think
Thank you.
it's unique. It's a one of a kind. As someone who's gone to a bunch of conventions and comic cons and stuff, there's just something special about this event that I feel like it just sets itself apart. Obviously the free part is clutch. Somewhat, but what makes it so special in your mind at least?
I think it's our partners. So the way I describe it, we're a nonprofit. So automatically we have a mission that drives us. And around that mission, we have some great partners. So we got the Billy Ireland Cartoon Library and Museum, the Wexner Center for the Arts, CCAD, Columbus College of Art and Design, the Columbus Museum of Art, the Columbus Metropolitan Library, Laughing Ogre, Gateway Film Center, Pop Culture Studies at Ohio State University. Those are our year-to-year partners. And the way I describe it, just to keep with that geek analogy, is think about Voltron. Mighty robots coming together to form one super CXC robot.
Yeah.
So we all come together, and even though we're a spunky nonprofit with a respectable budget, $100,000 budget. We feel like a $500,000 organization because all those partners come together. They share resources. They bring in special guests. They let us use space. I mean, it is. I've never heard of very many festivals that come together with so many different organizations working
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, it is cool. And I think that's something special about the community here in Columbus. If people haven't if they don't know, I mean, like you said, you're talking about the Billy Ireland Museum. I that is a joy that is right in my backyard that as a fan
Ooh.
growing up of Dick
Mm-hmm.
Tracy, to
Oh,
walk in and see the desk that Chester Gold worked on, and I was like, I didn't even know it was there the first time I went, and I was freaking out. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is my legend right here, and it's been in my backyard all this time.
oh my gosh, they got some of those. A couple of those. What's that comic? Calvin and Hobbes
Oh,
got some originals. Some original pencil work from that Bill guy from Cleveland.
I'm sure someone you might have heard of him.
Someone's heard of Bill Calvin and Hobbes. Come on.
Yeah, it's such a cool museum. And like you said, you got Columbus, CCAD, you've got I have literally 8 different comic shops within a 30-minute drive of my house. Like
Oh,
that's the culture here in Columbus. In the community for cartoon anime comics is just it's booming in Columbus. So
Columbus
this
is
is a
the
great
capital. Columbus is the capital of cartoon and comics. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's all about the seas. It's all about the
It
seas.
it it really is. So talk to me then a little bit about before we get into the meat more a little bit more of the pro, you guys have a awesome lineup of creators and people that are coming, and you have for years. Like I every year you guys put out who's coming. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like this is fantastic. So who do you have coming this year?
So this year we've got Daniel Klaus coming. Daniel Klaus, we're talking Ghost World. We're talking 8 Ball. He's debuting Monica, and this is the only festival that he's coming to. He is talking on Friday night. at the Marchand through the Wexner Center.
Okay.
And so we have tickets available for that, free tickets, of course.
Yeah.
So he'll be there. Also on Friday night, a little bit earlier, we have Raina Telgemeier. Raina's got a great exhibit at the Billy. You were just talking about the Billy. They have a
Yeah.
great exhibit of her work, and she'll be featured on Friday as well. We have tickets for that event, and
Well,
both
to
of them
interrupt
will
you real
be,
quick,
yeah.
uh, I was so excited when I saw that guest because I'm currently reading the Babysitter Club graphic novels to my daughter right now
No.
before we go to
Oh,
bed. And I was doing research for, talking about the interview here, having you on. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, I literally am on book 2 right now with my daughter.
you gotta. Are you gonna bring your daughter to get her book
Yes.
signed?
I just told her to this morning.
Nice.
I was like, we have to go. Like, I'm like, the person who created the comic that we're reading. She's like, let's go.
That's what I'm saying. You get to meet these creators, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then one of the rarities, I think, for festivals, U.S. festivals, is bringing manga artists
Mm-hmm.
from Japan to the United States. And we got Keitugaku coming. Keitugaku is one of the only trans, well, a manga creator that happens to be trans as well.
Okay.
So that he is out there and does a book called Boys Run the Riot. So Keitugaku will be here. They will be talking at CCAD,
Okay.
College of
Yep.
Columbus College of Art and Design on that Saturday night, and then signing books that Sunday at the main library.
Okay. Yeah.
The other ones are okay. So we got Brenda Chapman. Brenda Chapman is one of the first women to direct an animated feature for a major studio, The Prince of Egypt. So on that Thursday, we're really doing our salute to animation. We have Chase Schulte, who was with NBC Universal, kind of an archivist,
Okay.
and then we got we show Prince of Egypt, and then we have Brenda Chapman for a Q&A, which is really, really cool opportunities. I'm
That's
telling you.
that's so cool. Yeah, and this spans like 4 5 days. It feels like it seems like it seems like it keeps expanding longer and longer.
Because we have so many partners, because
Yeah.
we have so many guests, we want to spread it out a little bit. So we do 4 full days.
Yep.
We start at the Gateway Film Center on Wednesday night, and we have Ohio animators, or basically Wednesday night asking people to get together, drink a beer, and watch cartoons. That's what we're asking on Wednesday night. Come on,
Not
can't
a
get
not
any
a
easier
not
than
a hard
that.
thing to sell right there.
Thursday and Friday, we're at OSU campus, and we're at the Wexner Center, the Mershon, and also the Billy Ireland, which is always great. And we have a lot of teaching talks during the day and evening programming. And then we head downtown on Saturday and Sunday. We have 100+ creator publisher expo at the main library on the second floor. So that'll be at the Columbus Metropolitan Library on the second floor there. That'll be all day Saturday and Sunday. And then Saturday night, we have programming at CCAD with Keitugaku. And then we also have a session at the Museum of Art that'll occur on Sunday morning.
Yeah. It's a jam-packed event, gang. I'm telling you, it's just so cool. And I felt like I was sneaking into something that I wasn't supposed to the first year I went because I'm like just hanging out with all these like people are like, oh hey, like get snacks and food. Like you want? I'm like, am I allowed? I'm just here as like I was like, I don't know if I should be
Yes.
here.
No, absolutely. We don't want price to ever be a barrier
Yeah.
to people coming to meet creators. So we definitely have the free admission. We have a ton of different programming. It's not just the weekend; it's also weekdays. I mean, we're telling people, hey, take your PTO days, do those vacation days, and come on down, check it out. I mean, I know people who are doing other shows on Saturday and Sunday, so they're coming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways to experience it. So just come.
Yeah. It is such a fun event. And you talked about briefly about the Saturday at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. The vendor, like the booths that you at, like that was jam packed when I went there last year. Like talk about that experience a little bit more.
Oh, there's nothing like a floor full of creators, full of publishers, and watching attendees arrive and just wandering wandering the aisles. It's almost like I equate it to the spinner rack. You know, you can spin that rack and like what could I find? What am I mean, like, is there a comic book about ramen? I mean, is there
Right.
there's something about dinosaurs over here? I mean, like, so you get to like walk through and just get fresh stories, try something new or something old. You know, like you're a big fan of John Jennings or Chris Sprouse or Shelley Bond, who did the Vertigo days. Like you can bring
Right.
your books and get them signed, but then you can also maybe discover something new, like a new creator, and get a new story.
Yeah. Well, and I just appreciate the openness of the variety that there is, because like you said, you can, if one area is not your cup of tea, you're bound to find something else that you're like, okay, this is right up my alley. So how do you all then come about with getting guests and figuring out who's going to be a part of this show?
So we start getting together initially December. We have a quick meeting, and then just regular meetings with the partners. All the partners have their own guests that they want to bring that fits their mission, that
Mhm.
fits their style. So obviously, the Billy Ireland brought in Raina Telgemeier because they have the exhibit. So that's a great example.
Right.
But then CXC has a number of our own guests that kind of just fill in those gaps as far as representing the spectrum of what comics, cartoons, and animation could be.
Yeah.
So like we want to have a nice balance. So it's not just cartoon strips. It's not just capes and tights. It's trying to just we have a lot of bio comics, like biography comics, you know, like or history or adaptation. So we're really trying to just cover the spectrum of what comics and cartoons and animation could be.
It is such a diverse group of people that step up onto the plate and see all these comics, and like you said, animation too. Like Prince of Egypt movie, I remember from my childhood, like was that when I saw like heard the voice actors that were all in that movie, I'm like, holy cow, like what is this DreamWorks doing? Like, and like it was fantastic. So like to have those
Mm-hmm.
opportunities of the screening and the Q&A, like, I mean, come on, like that's fantastic.
Oh, one of my favorites is coming back. Durf back Durf.
Okay.
Durf is coming. He did My Friend Dahmer. He did Kent State, For Dead in Ohio. I mean, like I can't wait. And the best is when you're in line for Durf, he will draw one of the characters in the credits page, and it looks so good. You have to stare at it like, wait, was that printed originally with the book or not? So like, it's such a beautiful drawing, and it's just such a unique experience to
Yeah.
have him just autograph, not just sign your book, but
Yeah.
also just like do an illustration in there. It's amazing.
Tell me, how did Cartoon Crossroads Columbus come about?
So it is the brainchild of Jeff Smith and Vijaya Iyer with Cartoon Books, and Leslie Caswell,
Okay.
the founder of the Billy Ireland. There was another festival that occurred every other year. That was my understanding, and they wanted to shift and create a festival that not just like a Mid Ohio Con kind of thing,
Yeah.
but also like let's work with all these different partners so we can share resources. Because
Mm.
I mean, at any other time, the Billy's bringing in a comic guest here or there. The library might be bringing a comic book guest or a cartoon strip guest or a young adult. So let's combine them all. Let's get them all together. And it was those three that had the vision for CXC. And they brought in Tom Spurgeon, our founding executive director. He passed away a number of years ago, but he was an amazing comic journalist and really helped push the show to that next level.
Mm. And how did you get involved then with Cartoon Crossroads?
I've been a comic creator for the past 7 years, self-published, and I have about 25 years of nonprofit experience. I started a theater company down in Cincinnati called No Theater of Cincinnati and the Fringe Festival here. And then I worked for a number of different nonprofits, an
Yeah.
art museum. I did a startup kitchen capital campaign. So like I worked for the Contemporary Arts Center down in Cincinnati. So I had all this nonprofit experience. I'm a comic creator. I saw this job opportunity work come up. Jersey Droz was the interim director after Tom, and he did an amazing job. But I think he wanted to move on to do another project, so he was the interim director, and they posted the job. And you know, yeah, every so often, hashtag living the dream. You just got to go for it. So I wanted to apply for this job, work with Jeff Smith, work with all these other great creators, and so it's such an amazing array of board members and volunteers who are so dedicated to
Yeah.
Cartoon Crossroads Columbus and its growth. And this festival, it's going to be the ninth year. And we had about last year we had about 10,000 people attend, which was wonderful because it was the first time in fully in person and
Mhm.
in 3 years. And what was great is we learned some lessons. So if you go to our YouTube site, we archived all the programming, the majority of the programming from last year. So like Lee Mars and Trina Robbins talking about underground women comics in the 70s in the Bay Area. You can't really get those kind of interviews.
Right.
And we had it archived. And what's nice is 10,000 people attended. And then we were on track to get another 10,000 just in views of all our archive programming. So it's really just showing that we're on the right track
Right.
and to kind of historically archive these conversations, these spotlights, these teach and talks. I think it's just really essential for the industry to have that kind of knowledge.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a couple times these teaching talks, like when you come about with figuring out the programming for Cartoon Crossroads Columbus, what are some of your main passions and goals to figure out like these are things we want to showcase? Is it kind of once you figure out who you're having as guests, or do you go like, no, let's get these guests so we can have some of these conversations, or a little bit of both?
We got we have an amazing programming committee headed up by Craig Campbell and Ben Toll, and they do a fantastic job with the committee to create these very unique programs. And it just covers the spread. I mean, last year Lee Mars was talking about the writing process,
Hmm.
or we had Grace Ellis, who's from Columbus.
Yep.
She talked about the writing process, and I admit I'm a writer, so I was like, "Ooh, those are amazing." But like Ben did this fantastic teach and talk where he was just talking about panel layouts for comic book pages, and it was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm so glad it was recorded because I've watched it at least 2 or 3 times. Don't tell him I said that, but I've watched it at least 2 or 3 times since because it's so good and so uh, and just really seeing someone in their prime like Ben just really pass on some great knowledge to not just the people in the room, but because it's archived to anyone in the world.
Yeah. Is is this something that, as a festival, like you got a lot of these, Q&As and teaching talks and things like that. Is it family friendly? Is it encouraging? Is this kind of all around?
What did I pay you in coffee to ask that question right at that time? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Yeah, so
I'll take you up on that
Jersey,
coffee now.
our interim executive director, Jersey Droz, and working with Andros, they have created an amazing kids track. So that'll be the Saturday and Sunday with a focus on Sunday. And there's all I call it all ages programming,
Mhm.
but there's some great family track programming featuring Janny Ho, featuring a lot of other different creators, and they're doing character creation, they're doing sketch work. I mean, it's fantastic opportunity for just to turn on or really just channel the love of comics that the next generation has into the creative process.
Yeah. I love that because I mean that's how you get next generation into comics and growing in the comics and loving. And we talked about how my daughter's super excited, and Rand's gonna be there because of the Babysitter Club. And it was literally there was the Sweet Valley Twins comic that was a free comic book day this last year, and it was a ballerina, and she was like, I want to read this comic, and fell in love with it. And we went out and I showed her how to do a poll then of getting all these books, and now this is our thing. Like I've been trying for years of like, oh, like Frozen comic books or Toy Story or anything. And she's like, nothing. But it was all because there was a ballet class and one free comic book, and now she's hooked on these
Oh,
babysitter graphic novels. So
mine was my daughters and reading the Bone books to them,
yeah,
Jeff Smith's Bone books. I mean, it's just like obviously the first couple of books have that humor, have that kind of
yep.
style. Then it gets a little bit more into the fantasy a little darker, but like they were into it the whole way. I mean, it's just perfectly paced and a wonderful read, and a great way to introduce comics to a new generation.
So so as someone who has young daughters who are I'm trying to get, exposed to the hobby. I'm grateful that there is a place for them, at Cartoon Crossroads Columbus, because it's something
Absolutely.
it's so special, right? Like finding ways that we can continue to grow the industry, growing the culture and love for comics and cartoons and animation. And so that's fantastic to hear that there are those kid track programs. And I'm gonna be scouring through them all and saying, all right, what can I take my kids to?
Let me be your curator. You talk to me, and
Yes.
I will do that. I will
Yes.
do that.
Fantastic. So I want to respect your time a little bit, but is there anything that we haven't hit on yet with CXC that you're like, we got to talk about this?
So I would say just the schedule guide is on the website.
Yeah.
Look that up. And I hate to, we want people to just come and improv and just have fun. But for those that really want to, make a plan, I would
Yeah.
say is probably the best, because on Saturday and Sunday at the expo, not only is there 100 plus creators, but we got two, I'm going to say two adult tracks, education, artist spotlights, those kind of things, and then a kids track as well. Which, I mean, there are certain, like Janny Ho. I'm gonna kind of sneak in and check out that talk as well. So it's, and there's signings, so you can get in line and meet some of your creators and have them sign your books and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like, I would just say, try and make a little bit of a plan. Like, I definitely want to go to this talk. There's a punk rock talk. Oh my gosh. There's a punk rock talk with Nate Powell, Shelley Bond, Reagan Buchanan, and Durf, all like in one room. I was like, what? So I love Craig Fisher's doing the moderating on that, and I love that opportunity. So I'm going to that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even have a pager, and I'm like, beat me if there's any problems. I don't have a pager. So I'm just making that up.
You just like shut it off and act like
But yeah, so I would just say try and make a little bit, or at least highlight one or two ones that you want to go to, because there's so many creators on the floor. You could just spend all day on the floor, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and this is one now from, my little experience that I've had the last couple of years of attending, of really wanting to schedule, because you guys are spread out a little bit of, having stuff throughout the days on Thursday, Friday, and in the evenings and things like that. You can very easily go, oh shoot, I missed something I wanted to see, if you don't take the time to look through of the schedule, or might even miss a creator, because looking at that website, which is a great resource, and all the links that we talk about will be in the description of this video, or if you're listening via the podcast, it'll be in the description of that. Nice. But go check it out, because I'm, even in prepping, I knew some of the creators that, and some of the books people creating, Ghost World and things like that. And I'm like, oh, this is great. But then, when I saw, Durf with my friend Dahmer and the Kent State Store, I'm like, I know those. Like, and sometimes if you don't do your research, you might miss out on meeting some of your creators that are actually some of your favorite ones that you've gotten to read.
I mean, I admit I have an advantage because I've known about which guests are coming for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
And I've slowly been going through my collection, pulling a couple of books to get signed, which is, that's one of my favorite things, is to get some of my collection signed or add to my collection, of course.
I am starting right now. What I'm starting to do is get my collection to see what I want signed, but I'm really going off rereading, or if there's something I haven't gotten to read yet. I'm like, my entire month now is I'm just gonna have a CXC reading list of this is what I'm reading to prep for the con, the event, because I want to be able to engage with the creators a little bit more and just talk about some of the things that either it's been on my reading list or I haven't read it in so long, and I want to just have it there, because I feel like it's a great place to have conversations, and with them about why they created what they created and things like that. And so if it's something that you love, man, make a reading list too.
Oh yeah, I like that. And what is nice is the programming, and I can't guarantee it, but we're planning on recording the majority of the programs, so you should be able to see them online. Probably we're going to dole it out November and December. So, I mean, if there's one you really want to go to, you got to go to it. But I know sometimes there's the hard choice if there's like two at the same time. But like, make that hard choice, and we should be recording that, archiving that program for future.
So one of the last things I was just thinking about, obviously, I'm assuming is too late this year, but if I have a lot of creators and stuff that I'm friends with that watch the show, if someone wanted to be a part of this, is there like a process to hop onto the floor on Saturday? Like, how does someone get connected if they want to be involved in this in the future?
So we're going to do a call for exhibitors, and we usually do that in December and
Okay.
January.
Okay.
So that'll be this year, December and January. We'll do an open call, and anyone's invited to apply. Applying is free. It is a juried process, so there's a
Okay.
5-person jury, and I'm one of them. But like again, it's 5 people, so like I just because you brought me coffee or a donut doesn't mean anything. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not like that. So it's a juried process,
Okay.
and then but the reason is there's only about 100 slots, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it gets competitive. I mean, we have exhibitors coming from around the world, across the country, and also Columbus based and Ohio based. So we have a nice balance of all those things.
Yeah. Gang, I'm telling you, if you are in the Columbus area or near, make the trek out to go check out CXC. It is fantastic. Like I said, I plan to be there. Jay, if you watch this, you guys can go say, "Hey, Jay, I saw you talking about it." But it is a fun experience, and what I love is I think you really get a taste of what the community is in this industry, accepting, welcoming, friendly, and it is just you feel like you're a part of something special. I think when you show up to this event.
And then one more.
Yeah.
So that Friday night, it's all celebration. We've got the Reina event,
Yep.
and then before the Daniel Klaus event. Sorry,
Yep.
we're gonna have an awards ceremony
Oh,
at
cool.
the Billy Ireland. It'll be in the lobby of the Billy,
Okay.
and they'll have the reading room open, so they'll have some original art for you to take a peek at, which is amazing. And we'll be giving away a couple of awards. That's our awards ceremony,
Okay.
reception. It's a great opportunity. Just meet a bunch of the different exhibitors, special guests. Just meet creators.
Yeah. Well, Jay, I am looking forward to talking with you obviously there and experience this a lot more this year. It is a great event. It's a blessing to our community to have something this cool in our backyard, and I'm grateful for it. And so I thank you and your team, and I hope if you're watching and listening to this interview and you can make the trip out, or even if you can come for a day, definitely come check it out. You're not going to be disappointed at all.
Welcome, welcome.
As we're wrapping up, Jay, what are the dates and where can people follow along with what's happening with updates and things like this for the event?
All right, that website is Cartoon Crossroads Columbus, Crossroads with an S.org, or just Google us, Cartoon Crossroads Columbus. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. The dates are September 27th to October 1st, and the expo downtown at the library, the main branch, is September 30th and October 1st.
Well, Jay, it's been fun talking with you about Cartoon Crossroads Columbus, and I excited for another fun year.
Thank you, and thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, gang, with that being said, make sure you go make your schedule, make your reading list, and then come to Columbus in September and October for this fantastic event. So,
And I'm gonna try and grow a beard for September. I swear.
yes, I listen, and if I don't see a full beard by then, I'm gonna be sad. So, with that being said, gang, thanks for tuning in, and as always, hopefully you can find some time to curl up, grab a book, and nerd out. Peace.